Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. And we had just broken the question with Lilly about her leaving or not, and it is clear that for the last couple weeks she has made a decision to leave Scotland and break up with Hisao without telling Hisao. So this is, not good news, and we'll see if Hisao actually tries to do something about it, or if he mopes around in misery, or if there's any choices left in the story that we can do to influence this particular decision. So we'll continue on with Farewell, which doesn't bode well already. As class ends, I simply rest my head on my hand and stare out of the window to pass the time. It's been a few days since Lily told me her plans. I haven't been to our ordinary lunchtime haunts since then. Not that there would be much point. It'd probably just bring more pain and agony to your already wounded heart. Hanako's been busy with the newspaper club she's newly joined and has even begun talking in class with Naomi every now and then. Even Lily, aside from the fact that a meeting between us would have been awkward in any case, has been run off with her feet with class representative duties as the summer holidays approach. And now they're just about here. With the end of today's bell, the summer holidays will have begun. I suppose that all I'll end up doing will be visiting my parents for the duration and lazing about my old home, now that my previous plans are entirely askew. Well, what about, the whole science teacher thing and everything? You got that from Muto and everything. You could easily try and transition into college. Lily isn't the end-all be-all. You've still got a life to live, Hisao. Meanwhile, Kira and Lily will be en route to Scotland to live out the rest of their lives there. No matter how hard I try to rationalize the idea that once the summer holidays begin, my life will return to the way it was, it simply refuses to happen. Everyone's moving on with their lives. Lily's rejoining her family, Akira's moving up in her father's business, Hanako's gaining new friends and hobbies, and even Yuko's moving ahead with her university aspirations. Even I'm moving forward in the end. With the grades I've gotten so far in Yamaku, much less after such a rocky beginning, the path to getting into teaching science as a career seems straightforward. I suppose I should at least be happy about that much, but it doesn't really seem to help. Hey-chan! Oh gosh, there's Misha again. But as I said in I think the last video, about that huge breakup with the girlfriend at the time, she hurt me bad, and I eventually had to move on. So at the time, there was a good position up north with my parents, and I left and traveled up north several states away, and eventually found my way into a job as a banker at the time. And it was good, it was decent, but it allowed me to move on with my life and continue on where I felt like I could not. So there's that. I quickly stopped my ruminating and turned to face the bubbly voice beside me, putting on the most upbeat expression I could muster. As expected, Shizune stands flanking her. I have a sneaking suspicion they want something from me. Hey Misha, Shizune, what's up? Well, Shizune and I were thinking, since we're just two poor little girls that need help with all the work we've been given just before the holidays began. See, they probably already know that Lily and I have broken up, so all of a sudden, your time is free now. You can come with us and help us out. It's probably through Shizune that they found out. Sure, I can help. But Hee-chan, we really... I said I just... What? She didn't expect me to say yes. I think I broke Misha. Even Shizune raises an eyebrow at her accomplice's shuddering stop in her tracks. So you'll help us, Hee-chan? I just said I would, didn't I? It's hardly like I have anything better to do. Maybe helping them with their work will help take my mind off the situation. Misha seems genuinely ecstatic with my response. I cannot read. It's early in the morning. Quiet. But Shizune's expression is clouded and difficult to read. I find myself quickly averting my eyes from her own, as it almost looks like a face of pity. No doubt it must be just my imagination. She knows. She knows exactly what happened. This is hardly the first time I've been in the student council room. Indeed, I found myself down here often, either to help Lily with class rep work, or to sort out one thing or another with the student council itself. Now, though, it's quite a different place. Papers and folders are strewn across every table in the room, only a solitary little black laptop atop a single desk sticking out from the mess. It looks positively ancient, and I guess it had been valiantly serving its task in archiving information for years and years. So what needs doing? This looks like a lot to do. Shizune's expression becomes determined as she signs. It's a worrying look. Everything, Hee-chan! While you girls go out and get some lunch? Okay, cool, fine. My worry was well placed. Everything, you say? What's left on the desks is what needs to be done. It's probably a lot. It all needs to be digitally recorded, which is what the laptop is for. And I'm guessing that I'll be the one doing this. Chi-chan says she saw you with computers in the library a few days ago, and that you seemed really good with them. That doesn't mean a thing, it just means I was on a computer. Good with computers, I can touch type, I guess, but it seems like an overestimation of my skills. I was just typing up homework. Wait, Shizune was watching me do that? She's stalking me. She's a creeper. One must know their allies before they can know their enemies, of course. Wow, that's pretty wise. Misha's just like, wow, did I just say that? I sound wise. I sound smart. For once, it's not very hard to work out who said what. Nonetheless, it doesn't seem worth fighting over. Sitting on a computer doing some typing hardly seems onerous, as far as tasks to help Shizune and Misha go. Besides, it will help take your mind off things. Take my mind off things? Take my mind off what things? Misha's face goes blank as she translates this for Shizune, though the latter's response is only to glance away toward the window after briefly signing. Misha's face quickly returns to a smile as she translates back. She was confused, I guess, but Shizune is harder to pin down. I was just thinking you may like to get your mind off the exams, of course. Oh, you sly devil, you Shizune, you know exactly what's going on. You knew that we broke up and that I might need some distraction until Lilly leaves for Scotland. Either way, we may as well get into it sooner rather than later. I'll go along with you. That's the spirit, He-chan. And that's the 5th spreadsheet compiled and saved. Time for the next month's. After a little bit of fussing around, we all managed to get a bit more organized. Shizune's been gathering up the loose sheets and thankfully sorting them into a neat pile next to me. Meanwhile, Misha's been handling the manual writing work, her girly pink pen leaving its unmistakable mark on paper after paper. Once I get myself into a rhythm, this really wasn't so bad. Shizune and Misha also seem to be in the swing of things, wordlessly communicating as they go about their business with fervor. I periodically glance at the sheet beside the laptop, apparently a list of student names and matching addresses, as I dutifully enter the data written on it. I don't pay a lot of attention to what I'm typing in until I reach about midway down the page. Hakamichi, Class 3-3. Huh. Her family's home is in Saitama. My idle curiosity is ended abruptly as 3 light taps can be heard rapping on the door. Oh, it's going to be awkward. Not only is it awkward between Hisao and her, it's going to be awkward between Shizune and her. This is going to be really weird. Misha quickly slips over to check who it is, tapping Shizune's shoulder on the way past to let her companion know what's happening. Ah, you're here. Who is it? The slight pause enters Shizune's data into the file along with all the others. I look up to check who's at the door. Lilly? After giving a cursory nod to Misha in greeting, she perks her head up in her trademark manner. Is that Hisao? She's pretty darn good at working out my voice from the smallest of phrases nowadays. Well, yeah, given how much closeness you all share together. Yeah, it's me. Hey. The atmosphere feels slightly awkward as she bows. Neither of us knows quite how intimate we should be around each other, given she's leaving in just a matter of hours. This is a fact that, thankfully, neither the oblivious Misha nor the hard-working Shizune pick up on. So, you've got work to do as well. Unfortunately, I arrived as soon as I could, but the class held me up with a surprise farewell party, and I had to get changed. I glanced down at the laptop's clock. It's pretty much the end of lunchtime, so I'm guessing Lilly managed to wrangle the last period off as well. I take it Shizune is here as well. Of course! And I've been here during all of lunchtime as well. That last comment was really not needed. Shizune's baiting Lilly into another argument. I could feel it. I'm sorry I can't be as hardworking as you, Shizune. I'll endeavor to hire more lackeys to do my work in the future, I assure you. BAM! Slap you! And Lilly just took the bait, escalating things further. Oh my goodness. Aren't you the one always outsourcing work to your classmates? The difference is that they choose to help, unlike your tyrannical grip on your own class. Ooh, it's gonna get good. Tyranny works. Even if we did things differently, we still got the same results, right? This is school, not a police state. You will have to remind me when you were appointed class monarch, I'm afraid. Dang, this is getting good. This is juicy. You have to seize power. It's not as good as if it just handed to you. But I guess you wouldn't really understand that, right? You'll also have to remind me when monarchs were elected into their positions. Lilly positively bristles at this. Shizun's two-hit combo forces her onto defense. Yet for all your vaunted power, you cannot get one person to help you without forcing him. Oh, now she's dragging me into it. Okay. But Hisa volunteered. He's such a hard worker. He's doing this instead of meaningless socialization, right? Is that so, Hisa? Oh, this is bad. This is so bad. I've really ended up between a rock and a hard place. As much as it may pain me to do this, the truth has at least a chance of stopping this argument here and now. It's okay, Lilly. They didn't harass me to come or anything. Lilly gives a disapproving grimace, slightly radiating her strong feelings of displeasure in my general direction. She can be quite scary when she wants to be, though thankfully that isn't often. Ichan, you make that sound like it's a regular occurrence. It isn't? In the end, it doesn't matter so long as everything's getting done at a good pace. Let's just get this work over with so we can go home. She soon snorts derisively and gets back to marking off the sheet in front of her, while Lilly sighs and finds her way along the room with her hand following the filing cabinets lined along the wall. This would mark the only time I managed to successfully defuse one of these situations, but the grudging ceasefire built around mutual fear and respect makes this feel more like the Cold War than any real peace. I can't take any credit, though. Lilly's leaving has surely affected Shizun to some extent to make her give up so easily. Moments before getting back to work, I noticed Lilly reaching up to grab something from above a filing cabinet. I almost offer to help, but her height gives her ample ability to take it down safely. Once she sets the strangely shaped device on the desk beside me, I realize just what it is. Sort of. As she takes the old green covering off and sits down. At first glance, it seems to be an old metallic blue typewriter, but it doesn't take me long to realize it's far from ordinary. It has far fewer keys than expected, and those show no lettering printed on them. Only the shadows cast by the tiny barrel dots on them give a hint to the thing's purpose. Blind typewriter? Oh, this? Well, you're not far off. It's normally called a Perkins Brailler, but it's basically a typewriter for the blind, yes. It presses braille into the page rather than text, which is why it has fewer keys. Huh, that's really neat. She gives a lighthearted grin at my curiosity over it. I have to admit that it appeals to my sense of novelty. Without further ado, we each get back to our allotted tasks. The loud clunking of the mechanics in Lily's braille and the tapping of the laptop's old and weird keyboard quickly fill the room. It's a nice atmosphere, really. Everyone knows what they have to do, and Lilly and I get to sit beside each other and exchange the odd word as we work away. Nostalgic. That's what it feels like. And awkward. It's pleasant, but just slightly stained with the knowledge that our time together is nearing its end. Excuse me, Misha? To properly address her, Misha bounces over from the filing cabinet she's peering into, in spite of Lily's lack of sight. For a moment, I think it's strange, but then realize it's exactly what I do. What's up? Could you ask Shizun where the attendance records for Class 3-2 are? I think they've been moved. Okie dokie! With that, she flitters off to Shizun. I like that, flitters. Who's working at a table behind us. Lily's familiarity with the council room and the efficiency with which she works reminds me that she, Misha, and Shizun used to all work together in the student council. Maybe this is a fitting end for her stay in Yamaku, working away just like she used to, surrounded by those she loves and at least liked. I look up, getting taken off guard by Shizun sorting through a drawer rather than Misha. Sure enough, she plucks out a manila folder, entirely blank save for just the barely visible bumps on its front, and holds it in front of Lilly. Lily's hand flits over it to check what it is, her fingers feeling out the dots of braille, confirming it's what she asked for. Thank you, Misha. No reply. No reply, that is, save for an odd grin. No smile on Shizun's face. A couple seconds pass before Lilly clicks that it isn't Misha behind her, but Shizun. Her momentary look of surprise is replaced by a slightly bashful smile. That is a very sweet picture right there. Aw, they made up. For a few moments, the room is all but still and silent. Eventually, though, Shizun strides back to her workstation and Lilly begins typing once again. It only lasted a handful of seconds in all, but it feels like years of communication were made up for in that one silent exchange.